Kano State by-elections for the Ungogo and Kano Municipal Council State constituency is already underway with significant low turnout of voters. Checks in some polling stations shows officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission in a relaxed mood, with visible few voters on ground at Tundun Warzerchi polling unit. With an estimated 600 registered voters, only 2 persons have so far come to cast their votes. Some blame the low turnout of voters on the Ramadan season and poor publicity from relevant authorities, while others blame the low turnout on the low or loss of interest in the electoral umpire by the people, claiming the elections is one-sided. The by-elections in the state followed the sudden passing of Sarki Aliu and Aminu Saad Ungongo in December 2025. Rise News correspondent Ayo Adenaye is covering the elections and now joins us for updates on the exercise. Hello Ayo, it's good to have you with us. What's happening where you are at the moment?
All right, it's a pleasant afternoon here in Kano, where the by-elections is currently ongoing. And just like you just read from the report, this particular by-election follows the death of these 2 state lawmakers who both sadly passed on the same day. The first to die was Aliu Sarki, who represents the Kano Municipal Council constituency. Just few hours, the death of Aminu Ungogo also, who represent the Ungogo state constituency, was also announced. And INEC has fixed today, 21st of February, for this particular election, so that they will all have a representative at the State House of Assembly. And like you read from the report, also who visited both Ungogo local government to also see the situation there. And presently, we are at Kano Municipal Council, presently at Tudun Uzochi, where we have observed so far the low turnout of people. And if you can see just behind me, you see people, you see the presiding officers and the INEC officials. They are just sitting down with no visible voters here to actually cast their vote. And from what we have gathered so far, well, why some want to attribute it to the Ramadan season, but from what we see on the ballot paper, you discover that 3 major opposition parties are not on the ballot paper. When I talk about the 3 major opposition parties, we talk about the African Democratic Congress, which is ADC, the NNPP, who are these particular 2 state members who died 2 months ago. Before their demise, they belong to the NNPP. But funny enough, as we speak today, the NNPP is not on the ballot paper. The reason might not be far-fetched from the fact that the state governor defected to the APC, while the NNPP, even before this election, the NNPP loyal to the leader of the NNPP, Rabi Musa Kwankwaso, have already pulled out of this particular by-elections, that they are not interested in it. So as we speak, both NNPP, ADC, and the PDP, they are not on the ballot paper. And probably this may be the reason why the election doesn't look a contested one, because of these 3 main contenders that are not. So we only have the APC and other parties, about 9 political parties, who also joined the ballot paper. But what we've gathered so far, where we are and other places that we have visited, is that there's a low turnout, and the issue of publicity too, because for personally, if not people like us are pressmen, we'll probably not be aware that there's going to be an election today, because when you listen to the radios, you don't get to hear the jingles. You watch your TVs, you don't get to hear jingles as regarding this particular election. So a lot of people, with some of the people we met on the street, how far, where are you going? I said, there's election today. We are now aware that there's election. And even the restriction that was placed by the police or by the state government to restrict people from moving, going around the streets, especially where the elections are holding, you still see people opening their shops to sell business. You still find motor cars and everything, people going about their normal businesses as if it's a normal day. So basically what we can see from Kano here is that the turnout, like we said, one of the polling units where we visited, they were expecting about 600 registered voters, but so far only 2 persons have voted. I just visited there now before coming up now. They told me that 1 more person have come, which means about 3 people have cast their votes so far. And around this particular, by my right-hand side too, you discover some of the presiding officers or some of the officials of INEC INEC are just lying down. Some are sleeping because there are no people to come and vote. While everything, yes, from what we also saw, the beavers and every equipment that needs to work, everything is working perfectly. And those few people that came to vote, they can see their name on the registered paper and they can actually go and vote without any form of itches.
And have you been able to speak with any of the voters who are on the ground to hear their take on the reason for the apathy? We know that the report shows that it may be due to the ongoing Ramadan fast. But are there other underlying reasons? You mentioned the fact that INEC probably didn't do enough publicity too, but are there other reasons like security? What other, underlying reasons you think are responsible for this low voter turnout?
All right. Thank you very much for that question. Like I pointed out, especially when you stay in northern part of the country, when people, once it's the Ramadan season, once people wake up to take the sahur, the early food they take before the fasting commences for that day. Most of them retire to bed, and maybe by 10, 11, that is when most of them begin to rise up to either go for their work or go for their business and so on. So this is one of the major factors that some of the people who have come here to cast their vote actually pointed out that, look, this is Ramadan season. Once we take our sahur, we just go to bed, we rest. And so discussing with some of the INEC officials, they are expecting that, okay, maybe by 1 or probably before 2, because they said they will be closing by 2. So before 2, they are expecting that probably maybe there might be more people to turn out. The issue of publicity too also matters. I've said it. I've spoken with 1 or 2 persons that I know in Kano. In fact, some people have called me and I say I'm covering an election. They asked me, is election happening in Kano? They are not aware. And earlier now, we have one of the previous former lawmaker who was also here to cast his vote in this particular polling unit just behind me, and we get to ask him why the low turnout and so on, and he said the people believe it's a one-sided election. I'm quoting him now, according to what he has said, that it is a one-sided election. People feel, because like I said earlier, when you check the ballot paper, you discover that there is no PDP there, there is no NNPP there, there is also no ADC there. So the major political party that you can find on the ballot paper happens to be the APC. So this could also be one of the reasons why, since NNPP, which is the party that was ruling the state proud to before the governor defected, and like I said, that even the 2 members who died about 2 months ago, they all belong to the NNPP. But today, that same party that they belong to cannot even be found on the ballot paper because the party itself say they don't believe in the election, and they also decided to pull out of the election. So only 9 political parties are contesting this by-election, with the APC being the most prominent among them and the most pronounced among them. So these are some of the factors that can be associated or related to why there is low turnout or low apathy in this particular place.
Indeed, you're right. It'll be interesting to see what the final results looks like after the polls. Ayo Denaye, thanks for the update. The Kano by-elections. Good to have you with us.